It's Wednesday morning. You know what that means. It's time for another episode of the Alabama Slam podcast. I'm your host, Corey Hanna.
What's going on, guys? It's Patrick Akers.
And I've been suspended from the AEW roster for talking shit about a 1 hour match.
But she's back, right? Or did the suspension already happen?
I don't know.
I think. Okay.
I know she's supposed to be back by All In.
Yeah, I got to have some more build up. So it's like, is she really suspended or not?
Listen, girl, you just got back. And also, like, you might be the problem. Might be you.
I still say it's the 1 hour match.
Well, listen, this was her, Thunder Rosa.
Could have been 40 minutes.
That's true.
Somebody was talking about Adam Cole. He's moving. He's like in the middle of a move. People speculated they've parted ways.
I don't know, the details because she, you got some people saying one thing, she's saying that ain't all true. But if the part where she said all this in front of MJF's girlfriend, that's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, rookie move.
And I want to see the AEW All Access. Are we
going to get that footage?
Season two.
He knocked on the door, though. He didn't kick it in.
Yeah, he evidently walked down the hallway to punch it, is what he said.
Hey, we've been there. We've been there.
That's probably all our AEW talk for the week, right? Because we covered Dynamite last week because we recorded late, and then Steven's the only one in the room that watched Collision.
And now I'm questioning why.
We got home from Nashville about a half hour before SummerSlam. And I worked all day Sunday, so I didn't watch Collision. So
you didn't really miss anything. You and me and 180 something thousand people watched it.
Haterade over there. Well, let's get into SmackDown for Friday night. We got a few things to talk about before we get into SummerSlam. There were a couple of notes that I made. The first one was about Cody's promo, which I thought was pretty funny. He says, "Since the tribal chief ain't here, I'll settle for the wannabe." And Cody's always good as a promo, at so you don't really expect anything less out of him there. And then we got a good match on SmackDown. It's been a while. We got Andrade versus Carmelo.
This was take 2, right?
Yeah, this is number 2. So this is the second good match. This one was not as good as the first one, but it was still a solid match.
Still a good match. It was a lot of shit.
Ended the same way.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't guess,
I do have a question, Steven. Let's talk about Logan Paul's title defenses. How many did he have in 270 something days?
I can tell you exactly the number because if I was living in the backwoods of Alabama and it was 4th of July and I was holding fireworks in my hand and I was 3 sheets to the wind, I would still have enough fingers to count that. And here's my thing with it.
I was going to have to pick on you.
That's fine. I depending on the title, I don't have an issue with this. Roman, World Heavyweight, I don't have an issue with that number. U.S. title, those what should be considered your TV staple titles, I have an issue with it. I get why they put it on him. He brings his social media status to it. I get that when he's on, he's on.
The good and the bad.
Yeah. I mean, depending on what he's yelling at any given moment. But those titles I want to see defended more. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, you got to have the mid-tier titles on TV. That's kind of what they're there for.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had less of an issue with Roman defending 7-8 times in 3,000 days than I have an issue with him only doing it every 90 something days.
Also, no hometown pop whatsoever for Logan Paul.
Yeah, he got his ass booed.
He has no hometown.
I mean, sorry, have you met the man?
I mean, that is true.
Yeah.
As they said, I understand why he built the drink he did because the river caught fire, but I ain't saying a lot about his drink.
Well, I've never had, but have you had Prime? Anybody had Prime?
I don't drink any.
My kids burned through it real quick, and then they realized it sucked and moved on.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Does anybody actually drink? I see it all the time, but I've never even remotely been interested in trying to drink it.
My last encounter with energy drinks was about 15, 16 years ago. We were doing a charity event, not a charity event, but like a fundraiser for a friend of a family. And I drank about 4 Monster energy drinks in 2 or 3 hours because I was running on just a few hours sleep, and like it's just stuck to my fucking teeth. And then I felt like my scalp was about to fucking crawl off.
Hell yeah, and that's Monster.
Yeah, I haven't done that since.
Yeah, see, not all the primes are energy though. Some of them are just shitty coconut water.
I fucking hate coconut water. Can't stand it. I hate coconut, period. Except coconut shrimp for some reason. It's weird. I love coconut shrimp.
I'm not a coconut.
Anything else coconut, can't stand it. Coconut shrimp.
I love me some coconut. You give me a pina colada all day long.
Hell no. No, can't do it.
Can't do it. I do want to ask if I misinterpreted something, or if they just spoke incorrectly, or if they meant it and thought we were stupid. But the announce team at one point says that Jacob Fatu just met one of the Tongas a few weeks ago.
I didn't hear that, so
I didn't catch that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, he just met Tonga Loa a few weeks ago, or Tonga, one of them. I was like, okay.
I mean, they're not his brothers.
That is true.
They're cousins. I mean, they don't mean, like, I got cousins I've never met. I'm just maybe reading too much into it.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Trying to pick a fight with Steven.
Which one sucks? Which one of them is awful?
Tomatonga.
He's the bad
He's
one?
the one that the fucking put Cody in the side of the
Okay, yeah. I knew
the ropes the other night instead of the buckle.
Yeah, and he's the one they don't let wrestle, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that doesn't have the belt.
Gotcha. For good reason, probably. Because they're like, not very good.
And then the last SmackDown note I have is, did y'all notice that Solo pulled the Christian Cage with those belts at the end of the show?
Oh, wearing them all on himself?
He put them on either shoulder. I was laughing my ass off.
He's a tribal chief. You award him.
And Christian Cage continues to just influence everybody. The man is timeless. Everyone is stealing and has been stealing a long time from old double C.
And that is, I'll say it, that was the best part of Collision, was Christian Cage and the title awarding.
He's been the best part of most of what he's done here recently, the last, I would say, 6-7 years probably. He's routinely been kind of one of the more entertaining acts on the card, regardless of where he's been. But I thought it was cool that they were winning the tag team titles, but
I'm sad.
I didn't think that they were.
I knew it was going to happen, but I'm sad it happened.
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. I never thought for a second that Solo ever had a shot winning the championship against Cody.
No.
But the tag team titles are good to have. So
let's see. Let's get into SummerSlam.
First of all, did SummerSlam start at a weird time?
It was 6 o'clock.
I don't know. I watched it on replay.
It was 6 o'clock. Okay.
Is it just me, or can y'all, like, I watch it via the Peacock app in our TV, and it won't let me pause, like, if it's the live event for whatever reason.
Oh, I can pause it and rewind it. That's why I asked, because when I jumped in at 7, because haven't they always usually started? This, I guess, was special start time.
Maybe because they had more matches.
And so it was all right. So I just, when it went back to the very beginning, but I just like jumped in the middle of it, and I was like, what is happening? I was like, did this start at like fucking 5:45, a weird time?
Because
like,
normally they do like the hour kickoff, 1 to 2 hour kickoff.
Yeah. The coverage, by the way, this year started at 1 o'clock.
Nobody needs that.
It's too much.
Yeah.
This ain't the goddamn Super Bowl.
It's too much.
I ducked and dodged spoilers from Saturday through Monday. I didn't get to watch it till Monday.
Oh, damn. Good for you. It was all over the place.
Damn straight it was. I was like, nope.
I didn't text you about it or nothing?
Nope.
Oh, that's what I knew you were going.
You sent me the one rant about the peak advertisement.
Okay, yeah. Before we jump into the matches, let's talk about that.
Did I do that, or did Patrick do that?
No, you did that. But you did a tweet, and I also noticed it was kind of insane. We've reached, like, it's beyond kind of peak advertising. Not only do they have the Prime logo in the middle of the ring, now there's a logo in every one of the corners.
It was so that you had 3 logos on the mat. You had Wingstop, Prime, and I don't remember what the third one was.
C4 Energy, I believe.
Was it?
C4 pre-workout.
But hey, you got those on the mat.
Right.
They and good on them for doing it. The digital board on the side of the ring, they change out every match. So my question on this is, do you have to pay a different rate for a different match?
Oh, I would bet.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you think the top amount of money was for the Bloodline Rules match, or do you think it was for the Punk Drew?
I would guess probably the Bloodline would be my guess, but Drew would probably be second.
Yeah, because Cody's going to have that draw.
Yeah. I would think. I would think the main event just costs more.
But I mean, we're talking crap about this, but is this any different than the Like a Dragon boss street
No, it's
fight
not at
crap?
all. They're kind of forced to do it probably because of their HBO, whatever you want to call it, their Warner connection.
Or the Winter's Coming Game of Thrones matches, or the...
But that is like, they do it, but that's like a one-time thing. But and then there's also not, it would be like that, the House of the Dragon, but then it would also be like, and here we are, the 10-year anniversary Breaking Bad Blood and Guts match. Like, would you just keep
Shark
throwing
Week.
stuff? Shark Week, yeah.
If
Shark Week had 17 other things that were advertised again, and again, you going after the money. I get it. NFL does this too. Everything in the NFL sponsored.
I mean, good on them. I mean, yes. Do I miss the days of not having peak commercials? Sure, but you know what? Whatever.
It's just
Gives me a bathroom break.
It's just
And-
bombarding.
I didn't watch them because I was fast forwarding through that crap.
Yeah, well, that's typically, like you said, piss break as soon as a match ends. Because it wasn't like it was Mania where you had 30 minutes in between matches. You had 3 or 4 minutes maybe. You got time to piss or you got time to pour another drink. And you better get back. I had to piss during the middle of the Cody match and completely missed Randy Orton. He was already out of the fucking ring by the time I came back.
Your mistake was you didn't take your bathroom break in the middle of the 20-minute walk to the ring
Apparently,
where he's
yeah.
walking his dog. And
Yeah. I missed. I saw all that, so that's
And
probably,
had that insanely oversized mask.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's like, why, bro? Why is that 4 sizes too big? Why is it that big?
Well, let's circle back to that. Let's start off. Let's get into Rhea versus Liv Morgan. Liv retains with the help from Dom, and then he officially turns on Rhea. And my wife has never been more pissed off in her entire life.
this means that they have done their job.
She's not going to listen to that part, Steven.
They have done their job to the point that it was amazing. I love this match. I mean, it was fun.
She got mad at me because I said Nia was the worst. When I was yelling that Nia won, she's like, "You like Liv more than Nia?"
Oh, man.
And I was like, I mean, she's like, yeah, she's doing a really good job at her part. I was like, Nia sucks at all of it. I was like, Nia does not need this belt. They do not need to have this belt on her.
She has grown as a performer. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
But
yeah,
I gave you 2 weeks to prepare for this. I gave you 2 weeks to prepare for this. I told you that trouble was coming to your house.
Yeah.
Did you not prepare?
I was drunk. I mean,
Clip that. That's the same right there.
not going. Well, I was working on it when the show started. I wasn't drunk at 6:00 yet, but I was. We had only been home for a half hour, but I did have my first drink in hand before 6 p.m. started. About 5:58.
I gave you 2 weeks notice that this was going to happen.
Well, and I told her that Friday night. I was like, Liv and Rhea are more than likely going to start this show off. Because I was like, they got to have a heater at the beginning. And you're not putting this one last because you got to do Cody and Solo last. I was like, they'll probably do, if they don't do Liv and Rhea here, they'll do Liv and Rhea right before Cody. Because I was like, but then I was like, they're probably not going to start off with Drew and Punk. So whatever, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so we all kind of called this. I think we were all on the same page with this one, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed how this played out. This you got to see both of them shine. You had the moments that made you question what was going to go. Where you're like, okay, he shoves her out the way. He pulls the chair to remind her that you can't win the title this way. Right. And I thought that might have been, they might have kept it more subtle in the loss. But bless him.
When he reached down to pick her up off the ground, I was like, I just started bracing myself. I was like,
that grin. I was like, oh, that grin. He's I'm like, when he pushed that chair in, and I was like, okay, that one's not as subtle as some of the other ones, but
Liv did the fucking move and put Rhea's head in the chair. I said, did you see what happened? I was like, did you notice? And like, where did the chair come from? And like, I think she was kind of in denial,
but when he shoved his tongue down her throat, I'm like, they're going full on right here, right now.
Well, listen, I've been pretty consistent on this. I've been Team Dominic and what he should do for a while now. So, sorry, Jamie, listen to this podcast. Rhea got what she deserved. You can't treat this man this way. I mean, you can't ever give this man no kind of smooch or nothing like that. And then the first time somebody gives him some kind of attention, expect him just to hang around.
Doesn't even give him chicken tendies, evidently.
I saw somebody shared a picture of him backstage with just a tray full of chicken nugs. And they're like, we should have known it was over from the moment she gave this man a platter full of chicken nuggies.
And listen, pull back the curtain a little bit. Spoiler alert, wrestling is not real. It's all scripted, okay? These people are actors. I have always heard in the acting community, when you do kissing scenes, there's no tongue involved. There was an alternate angle that somebody had on a cell phone footage, and one Miss Liv Morgan is going for it. And I do not know Dominic's marital status. I know he's married. He's probably happily married.
You should know his marital status because he's wearing his wedding ring as he is tonguing this woman.
So listen, maybe they get down like that. I don't know. It's 2024. But that thing was in there. I said, all the way.
When Rhea licked the side of his head, I was like, I wonder what Buddy Matthews thinks about this. And then I paused for a second. I was like, Buddy's pretty secure in how he
tweeted.
Did he? I saw them where he was like, hey, TK, can I go help out Mommy real quick?
So, but yes, I did enjoy this match. I love the way it played out. I don't think there was a bad match on this card.
No, I mean,
I think everything was good.
I have some thoughts, but it was a good show.
We got a Nia hater over here, so I know which match he's going to hate on the most.
We'll get there when we get there. I don't necessarily hate her either, but I can't, you got to call it like you see it. I think she did a pretty good job in the match, but nonetheless, I'm ecstatic that Dominic is now Team Liv. Our Team Liv is, I guess it's because
she's part of the Judgment Day now.
She's part of the Judgment Day.
Bless him.
Dom has his masculinity back. He's now in charge.
Daddy Dom.
Yeah.
That piece of shit.
I did love that. Where they were just like, just say it. That piece of shit. That was good.
I want to talk about that real quick because CM Punk tweeted about this not too long ago. It's like, this has to be used in limited doses. You can't just be everybody out there cursing off left and right once you get to Netflix or on these PLEs because that takes away the novelty of it, kind of like the blood. So he's already put that out there. You want to use those curses and blood sparingly, and I support that statement full-hearted.
That was a nice one from commentary though. Everyone is in agreement that they hate Dominic except me. I've been on your team for a while. Thanks for listening to me.
He's doing an amazing job at being what he is, of being that jackass. And I was here with you a few weeks ago talking about how I thought Damian was the bad guy in this, and I still stand by. And I think that Rhea is standing by the wrong friend, but I get why she is.
All right, so ref cam, yay or nay?
Nah, bro.
Novel concept, the way it played out, because it's Blair Witch to me, and I can't do that.
And a miss,
yeah.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
Man,
maybe don't try it out in like your second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Hit that shit on a Friday Night SmackDown or something.
Blair Witch and Twisters are both have that shaky cam thing just like that, and I can't do either of them.
Y'all got more thoughts on that? Or we'll have some.
I'm
more
looking forward to round 3.
Judgment Day stuff when we get to Raw.
Oh yeah, there'll be another match for sure.
So next up we got Braun versus Sammy.
That was quicker than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I saw a thing yesterday that said that it wasn't supposed to be that quick. It was supposed to be quick, but it was supposed to go about 10 minutes, and it didn't get quite there. I didn't see the reasoning for it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about either of them being injured in it, but we all knew it was going to happen. You don't rematch this with your rising star without cashing in.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, if you're going to have Braun be a badass, he's got to go out and just destroy somebody. That's credible.
I texted my friend Eddie, and I was like, this is the way they, like, his singlet looked more like along the lines of what we've been talking about, as opposed to the meaner than evil the dog or whatever. He had the black and yellow singlet thing going on, and I was like, this is a cooler look than the other, but I don't know if they'll be back on red next week in the rematch.
He still is just flash forward just for him on Monday Night Raw. He's still, the promo just did not do it for me. He's still just stale. He's stale, kind of big badass guy, and he's just being generic.
I don't know. I kind of like this promo where he was talking about you see these. I wish he had said it. You can pry something to the effect of you can pry these things off when you get this from a dead cold hand kind of thing. But I appreciate that he's going to try to die with this title.
But I feel like because he looks like just generic football player meathead, his character needs to his character needs to be on an extreme because his look is kind of like middle linebacker football,
right.
Like buzzed head. He's got the voice, whatever. Comes out in the singlet. So he needs something else. And I'm just going to keep bitching about this till it happens. I think the dude has a ton of potential.
Yeah.
And clearly the company sees a lot of potential in him. Just give him something to do.
I would like him to be more on the heel side of things than he is, because right now he kind of feels like he's leaning to competitiveness more than a bad guy would.
So just jumping Ricochet and them folks in the back ain't totally.
It was, but we're moved away from this now.
Yeah, now the crowd's like barking with him. So they're
True.
They're in his corner. But I did think the match was good, and I think it's going to set up. You had to get the belt off Sammy because I think he has big plans. Based off what the end of this pay-per-view is, I think there's a lot of big plans for him going forward.
Yep.
Yeah. Next up, LA Knight versus Logan Paul. On Twitter, I declared that it was LA Knight Day in threads, simply because I wanted LA Knight to beat Logan Paul so bad that they write him off TV for months. Because I think I even said it Thursday when we recorded. I was like, maybe my man needs to stay off social media for a while, which ain't, that's how he makes his money, so he ain't gonna do it. But that don't mean that WWE's got to put him on TV when he's out here making transphobic remarks.
Well, what can I say other than, oopsie.
Yeah, we're sorry. We're sorry.
Sorry.
That's basically what WWE says.
Basically, yeah.
Did WWE actually say that?
I don't think they did. I think they was probably just a phone call and just like, hey, bro. Why don't you just pipe down for just a little bit,
Yeah, we already talked about his lack of pop in his hometown. They were not fans of him being
that shows that he's doing his job in the sense that they've cast him correctly, that he's a jackass no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is a bad guy in my eyes anyway, but they made him a bad guy more when he partnered up with him.
Yeah, basically Patrick Mahomes in WWE kayfabe is a villain. He's a bad guy.
Right.
So is MGK. So are all these celebs that are teaming up with Logan Paul. You're all kayfabe evil people.
Yep. And I'm fine with this. I don't like any of them anyway, so it's all works out.
I thought the match was good. I thought this was another great match. Again, for Logan Paul, for probably as much of a dipshit he is, he's athletically super gifted.
This is the worst match he's had. I'm not saying that was a bad match, but this is the worst match that Logan Paul has had.
Well, this is only his third in 270-something days.
But I'm not sure if that's I've already acknowledged it. But when he shows up, he shows up.
Yeah, it was a good match, and
I have told you my philosophy. I had Christian McCaffrey on the Panthers for years. Dude is the best running back in the NFL. We had him there for 50% of the games, which means that for 50% of the games, he is the worst running back in any kind. I've dealt with that bullshit. I can live with that bullshit.
But we got what we wanted. LA Knight wins.
Yep.
Finally, they put a belt on him.
I like that they started the match. Here's my beef with this match. They beat each other's ass out in that crowd for 5 whole minutes before they came in, and LA Knight, didn't put him through an announce table. Just beat his ass outside, and then they just roll in. Ref is like, you know what? I'm sure they're good. Ring the bell. Didn't even ask anybody. Come on. That is like, you at least make it seem like, can you do this? Can you do this?
I'm fine with it.
I didn't even notice it.
I'm fine with it. I noticed it, but I'm like, I'm all right. I just wanted to see LA Knight win, and he did. I think Logan Paul kind of surprised him on the little backflip top rope moonsault thing, because LA Knight almost did not catch him whatsoever. And it was almost so bad that couple degree angle a certain kind of way, and I'm not so sure that Logan Paul's knee doesn't snap. as LA Knight lands on it.
Yeah,
so.
there was a couple because you had the brain buster that was supposed to be a superplex.
Yeah, don't know what that was. Do not know what that was. I don't know if LA Knight didn't get him over. I don't know if Logan got confused.
I think the core strength didn't get his legs up, whether that's on LA Knight or Logan Paul. I don't know, or a little bit of both. But
yeah, but no, good that LA got the win, and we'll see. I don't even know where he goes from here, like what his WrestleMania opponent will be, because we probably won't see him again until January.
You'll think he'll be gone till that long?
Yeah, I think January he'll pop back up in the Royal Rumble.
See, I think he seems to be wanting to do this more based on what they were saying in the post-rap.
He's got to get his truck back from LA.
No, he gave his truck back, just minus window.
Oh, I forgot.
That took 2 or 3 shots to break and then broke it. I don't know what that window was made out of, but it broke in a weird-ass way.
That might have been piss break.
But I think he'll be back, and I think they'll probably throw him into the mix with Cody for a little bit.
Oh yeah, because I guess Cody's got to beat somebody. Is there a Saudi Arabia show coming up? Logan's got to be in it because he's always in it.
Crown
and he faces
Jewel.
the champion.
Isn't Crown Jewel in April?
Oh, I don't know. That's usually Logan Paul. Logan Paul, whenever they go to Saudi Arabia, he just fights the champion and loses. That's been now the gimmick for two of these things now.
It has to happen, man.
It's got to happen. But no, I think he stays away till the Royal Rumble comes back.
I mean, you got the Jake Paul Mike Tyson match that's now been pushed off to somewhere in this fall, right? So he's going to go hang out with that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which I hope Mike Tyson knocks the shit out of Jake Paul. I don't think he will, but here's hoping.
Depends on what he's been paid to do.
Boy, you ain't lying. That's it right there. There's a little phantom punch.
So up next we get Nia Jax versus Bayley.
I like this match a lot.
I didn't think this was bad. I think this was the worst match of the night because I think the other ones were good, but I did not hate this one.
I think if this was my worst of the night. I don't know if it was my worst.
Yeah. Well, what would you be your worst then? There's only 3 matches after this.
I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed the Logan Paul LA Knight one.
Okay. Fair.
But that's because I like I love me some Bayley, and Bayley was facing out in this one so much that she was just overcoming the impossible odds. And then you had that little moment with was she trying to cash in on her friend? Was she just causing a distraction kind of thing? So I enjoyed that, and
Yeah, so that's weird. So we're already minus the Money in the Bank thing now because
nope, she didn't cash in.
Yeah, this is where we get to be mad all over again about the cash-in rules and how they actually operate and who you have to inform and what actually considers cash-in.
That's right, because she just ran to the thing with it, but they didn't.
The ref never got around to it before she got knocked off.
Yeah, so again, part of me was hoping that she would just whack Nia in the face with a briefcase right at the end.
I kept waiting for it. I was like, okay, well, they put it on.
I mean, they're going to do that, right?
Sure.
That's where it's going to go.
The crown, I mean, I like the crown that Nia had too. I mean, it fits her character. I mean, it's stupid, but whatever.
Listen, I always love entrance accessories. When I was making Create a Wrestler, my dude he had everything. Jackets, pants, wristbands, all of it. And then when they go to wrestle, just the trunks.
I'm going to join in with who was it that was bitching about it? I don't need the Pat McAfee crew in my wrestling game. I'll
you're
join
one of
in
those.
there.
All right.
He's a little too much. I like Pat McAfee just fine.
I don't need his
Sometimes I'm like, man,
friends.
just calm down a little bit.
See, I'm fine with him. I just don't need his friends in my wrestling game. There's other people I'd rather have in my wrestling game than him.
It's about money. And they made money off of it. Although I do think some of the guys, I enjoy Pat McAfee's show. I like all of the buddies, the Toxic Table, the AJ Hawk, all that stuff. Yeah, some of the NX. And listen, people got on the one dude, Ty, who is part of the Toxic Table, one of Pat's dudes, because he said like something along the lines of, what would you rather play as, one of these losers from NXT that can't even make it to the main roster? And people took offense to that. And it's like, guys, he's trolling. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's actually a massive wrestling fan, has a lot of respect for you guys. Don't take the bait. Because I saw a lot of NXT wrestlers like tweet back at him.
They did. I forget who it was, but I'm on that guy's side.
Yeah. It's just, hey.
I'm team random NXT guy and team Brit over here.
Listen, get your numbers up. Get off NXT and get on the main roster, then you'll be on the game.
Did you sidetrack here? Did you see there are so NXT moves to CW on October 1st?
I did see that.
And they are planning already to stack that show because you got Randy Orton and CM Punk are going to be on it. So they are gunning hard for some ratings on that show.
I'm sure it'll do fine. I mean, that's CW's broadcast, right? Free over the air antenna. Yeah. So,
I don't know these things anymore.
I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah. Because 19 here in Huntsville, they're the ones running. Anyway, so the potential is there for more numbers like that. So it's good. It's good for NXT. Now, I don't know who they're going to have carry that show. Obviously, I guess it's Trick Williams and Ethan Page are going to be the. It seems like all the people who, when we first fell in love with NXT, it was all the indie guys we really liked that were in NXT. Now it's like Homeboy debuted last night, Odyssey Jones. I'm like, I don't know who this dude is. He looks cool, but
he's apparently a transphobe too.
Oh, well.
According to Twitter.
All I know is he picked up 2 huge men, one on each arm, and dropped them on their heads.
I had no idea who he was.
I ain't complaining about that shit because that makes me entertained.
I had because I fast forwarded the match, and then later in the evening I was on Twitter and I was like, who is Odyssey Jones? Why are they talking about him? They're like, oh, this is a dude from the New Day match that I fast forwarded. And they're like, yeah, he said some transphobic shit. And then he just kind of like fell off for a little while. And I think it was so that they were hoping people would forget.
Yeah, I literally have not heard anything about this guy.
Yeah.
He's a big dude, though.
Big
he is that. But like, yeah, you're going to have NXT to a new network and like.
I figured they'll also drop some people down there every so often to keep it fresh and whatever. But
maybe. But I guess it's going to be the Trick Williams show for a little bit. Because you got to have somebody that's just down there.
Whooping ass.
Yeah, it has to be somebody that anchors the show.
Yep.
So Nia Jax, yeah. I like this one more than the LA Knight one, but that's just a personal thing.
It helps to be affiliated with The Rock.
Yeah.
Yep. Hugged her mama, hugged The Rock's mom.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you the champ.
But she has, I know you hate on her, but she has improved dramatically from where we last saw her in her first run.
I will give you that. Dramatically, yes. Does that still mean it's good? No, but she has improved, yes.
This would, like you said, you didn't hate any match on this thing.
I didn't hate this one. I thought she did a good job.
She bounced.
She did do that.
All right, Drew versus Punk. Seth is the guest referee. I thought it was kind of fun until it wasn't with that. A little too much interference from Seth there.
See, this is, I think, my favorite match on this card.
Mine is the one that came after that, but I did like this one.
I know people are all worked up about this stupid bracelet, but this is to me what I find enjoyable in wrestling. I can suspend my disbelief that these men are fighting over a friendship bracelet. I can, whatever, because that bracelet represents his family.
Yeah, Jamie was like, that's his fucking dog.
Yeah.
He's going to fight.
100%.
She was like, you go get that fucking bracelet.
Damn straight. I'm with you. I am with your wife on this 100%.
Yeah.
And I had no issues with this match. Like I said, this is my favorite. This was the crowd's favorite because this was the loudest they got.
They were on fire.
They got hyped for this, yeah.
Until one thing happened. We'll get to that. But this was the loudest they got up until that other point. And that was only a brief moment. And I think if anybody had to come out, they would have just been as loud as them because I'll take that back. I think I enjoyed the main event less than the Logan Paul one. But I'll get into that when we get there. But yeah, this one entertained the hell out of me because this is what wrestling is. It's storytelling and fighting, and I know why they're fighting, and you have your dramatic moments. We knew going into this that Drew had to win. We knew going into this that Punk hadn't wrestled since August.
Yeah, that motherfucker was gassed after like 3 or 4 minutes.
I mean, he hadn't wrestled since August of last year. And had been injured and came back 4 months before they thought he would. So I get that they were going to protect his ass left and right, and that's fine with me. That's been wrestling. You always have somebody protecting somebody who's not in shape to do shit. But I think he'll get back to where he needs to be, and this opens up so many storyline opportunities in various directions that I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I mean it's got to lead to a triple threat at some point.
Yeah,
for something.
One of the things that I wanted to read was from Trevor Dame on Twitter. He says, I looked to Punk Drew a lot, and I thought that was dog shit. He said, this is the third biggest show of the year, one of the hottest matches of the year, and they worked it like a Raw angle to set up future matches with Seth. Incredibly unsatisfying. it seemed like it got a little off track there for a little while to me. Like I said, Seth got a little too involved at times. But I also wasn't mad when Seth comes out ready to fight last night either. Like, you know.
Does he listen to our show? Do you want me to start a beef? Because I'll tell you straight up, I'm sorry that your dumbass didn't understand the fact that, you know, this match going in was going to end this way. Because there ain't nobody in this room that didn't think this match was going to end this way.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and Seth, his character to his nature is a troll. So he was trolling both of these guys, but he clearly hates
Punk more.
I mean, it's not without question.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Punk
both of those guys in there hate Punk. So I liked the little Seth and Drew are going to team up there at the end where he's like, just turn around. We just end this for both of us. And then we can go back elevating the company. Like, that's a good little moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some people were shitting on this match and I did not understand why. I enjoyed it. I thought it was like you said,
they're
it's
hung
old
up on
school.
that bracelet thing. I mean, to me.
Look, if you got my dog's name on your wrist, we're going to fight.
Damn straight.
And my wife's too. My wife's too.
It's the MacGuffin of this match. I mean, they are chasing after that thing because there's no titles involved. So the thing that he has to physically hold on to is his family, and his family is represented by that stupid ass bracelet.
There's this Drew McIntyre tweet. It's a picture of Punk face down in the ring, and it says, it was Drew who retweeted it, and somebody says, the haters said I couldn't do it, and they were correct. Honestly, great call from the haters.
I mean, he was out of shape. I get it, but
Punk was also he had a lot of more mass to him too as well, and that takes a minute to try to get in ring shape when you're carrying. He's probably carrying 20, 25 extra pounds there, easy. So like. And he's never been a super athletic guy to begin with.
No, I mean, what was it that Triple H used to call him, skinny fat?
Yeah, I mean that was Punk's whole thing the whole time of his career. He was a skinny fat guy. But when you're going across the ring from Drew McIntyre, who's built literally like a Greek god, you got to put some mass on.
Hey, Scottish god.
Scottish god. Excuse my modern day William Wallace,
lightning out his ass.
But yes, I thought the match was good, and yeah, it sets up multiple stuff. I mean. That guy's tweet though, it's like every match should be setting up something else. That's 100%. How it works.
To me, that's why this pay-per-view worked so well. There were so many different things they were setting future up for that it was, you got a story ending, you got that ending of a moment in the story, but it's still built to the next phase.
Now, at some point in this feud, I need to have the cliche, the classic wrestling where Drew McIntyre breaks into CM Punk's home and I get the shot of him holding the dog, Larry.
Oh, dear God.
While Punk is not home. I have to have that.
I didn't know I needed that, but I now do.
We got to have that. This is where it has to go.
But if it happens because right now, Drew's the good guy in my heart because what he said is true. And if there's a moment on Raw that I love, I don't know if you want to talk about it here or you want to talk about it now, do you want to talk about the fallout from this one or do you want to wait?
Well, we're here. Let's fuck it. Let's do it.
See, we had the fallout of this. You got CM Punk come out and be all happy and explain why he's happy because he's back where he loves. He's having fun with this thing. You get Seth Rollins, as you mentioned, come out to start a fight. And they're getting ready to throw down when Drew pops off. And
I've never seen Punk run so fast in my life.
Dude had his dog and wife again. So he took off. Get in the back. You have the little scene where CM Punk runs up to Adam Pearce is like, Drew McIntyre. Yeah, he's gone. I just want to talk to him. And he's doing the choking motion as he's doing. I'm like going, oh, this is great. It's a great callback to what we know CM Punk to be.
Right.
And there was another moment in this match that I want to talk about because he took a couple shots in AEW. One with the choking thing, and one was in the match where he put I forget who was, I guess it was CM Punk taking it, where they put him underneath the ring, slingshotted him up into the metal railing. To me, that was a shot at the Orange Cassidy's spot with Trent, where they did the same move and Cassidy jumped up and was immediately doing stuff. Meanwhile, Punk sold that for a good 3 to 4 minutes, and I was happy with that.
I didn't catch that, but I gotta have Larry and AJ on TV.
I want this now.
We have to have it. We have to have a moment where like CM Punk can't find his dog and Drew McIntyre has it. Like if you're going to do it you have to escalate.
I'm all the way CM Punk on this one. Then
I just need it to end differently than the Big Boss Man Al Snow dog one ended, because that one I'm still traumatized to it. To this day.
I mean, let's not go. Let's keep in mind this is mostly for kids. Let's not get too crazy with it, but just a little.
His dog was named Pepper, by the way. So the Big Boss Man invited him to dinner. They served pepper steak.
That's cold.
Yeah, I mean that was wrestling back then.
That's cold.
I mean, but just the same man that drug a coffin of the Big Show's father out of the grave with the Big Show on it.
They did. Wrestling used to be some wild shit back in the day. What was the group that tried to cut Val Venus's dick off?
That was Ty and Kai.
Yeah.
Chopper PP.
Chopper PP, yeah.
Val Venus, is that the dude who just lost his trademark?
Yes.
And Matt Coon picked it up?
Yes.
Oh, he lost a trademark? Oh.
Yeah.
And
they've turned it to he's trademarked Val Venus name and links it to is it a trans one for that one? Or is it just LGBTQ kids at risk kind of thing?
Oh, was Val one of them guys? One of the dudes too?
Yeah.
Okay. And I only know Matt Coon's name from, he did a podcast with Corey Ryan Forrester for a while during the pandemic, and then he co-hosted or did host Dax's podcast. Dax had a podcast for a while.
Yeah.
It was on, I think it's on Conrad's network.
Yeah, they did until Dax re-signed, and they were like, hey, you got to fucking quit that damn podcast because you saying too
running
much.
at the mouth.
Yeah, you popping off at the mouth.
You're going to have to clue me in on your last note in this one about from the callback one. Was he saying that it was shoved down our throat too much? Is that what it is?
I think so, yeah. This was at David Bixson Span. All capital letters. See, this is a callback to Bret Hart match from 1997. Listen to Michael Cole talk about how it's a callback from a Bret Hart match from 1997.
I want them to do that. I want them. I will never argue with them telling me that, because I've got people in my house that weren't watching this crap in 97. That
Yeah, I think it's cool for the people to know what's happening, but for the people
they did the same thing on Raw where it was. I think they should have said it, explained it more, but it got interrupted when they were doing the main event where they were doing the John Hubbard callback. I wish they had explained that more for people.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to assume that for some people they're watching this for the first time, and you need to help educate people.
Yeah.
Some people on Twitter just fuck, and I like that dude for the most part, but like some people. You have the people that constantly
I was drunk and I was on one at this point.
They constantly want to shit on WWE, and then some people constantly want to shit on AEW, and it doesn't matter what they do. That's just how it's going to be, and they can't recognize when people actually hit the mark.
He's more or less an AEW apologist.
Same with Trevor.
And this dude's always shitting on WWE for like. It's probably where I found out that the dude with the New Day last night was transphobe. Was probably from this dude.
And here's the thing. You can't, if you say it one time, you might get some. You say when you repeat it a couple times, it sticks. That's the story you're trying to tell them. That you're telling them that this is important, and so this is obviously going to be important somewhere down the line.
I thought Rollins' ref outfit would be a little bit more.
I did too.
Extravagant.
Yeah, they were talking about the t-shirt, like the ref shirt was. I'm like, he bejeweled it. I'm like, where on the pocket?
His pants were. But he more or less had on a blouse on Raw, and I was like, "Well, how's he going to top this?" And then he kind of took a step back,
and then he didn't. Yeah.
I saw a bunch of Beetlejuice 2 references. I'm like, maybe.
Whatever. If there was, it didn't play on camera well.
Only
whatever.
maybe because it was black and white.
What?
Which is
okay, whatever.
Rare fashion faux pas from Mr. Rollins.
But I enjoyed it. Him lounging in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was waiting for the moment where they just brawl outside.
Him
and
where he's like getting around. Going, I'm gonna, nah, go ahead.
I just wish he would have said something like, "Hey, quit bickering at me and just beat his ass. Beat the hell out of each other." Something like that.
Yeah. But no, this was my favorite one, and I think the crowd. I was kind of shocked that later in this thing that the crowd wasn't as loud for any of the other ones as they were for this one.
Well, this one had the build up.
This one had the build up. This was probably the longest story going into SummerSlam.
Bloodline is the longest one, obviously, because that's still But that one, we'll get there. But that one suffered from its own, of its own making.
Let's do Gunther and Priest next.
The crowd loves him, and I don't get it.
Who are you talking about?
Priest?
Yeah.
Oh, they've changed his character. They just made him Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious, and it works better, honestly.
He was over shit last night.
Yeah, he was.
I think the documentary really
Helped.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I want to talk about because this was my favorite match of the night. I absolutely love this match, and partly it is because I think they finally figured out what Damian Priest should be, which is he should just be himself. I don't think Damian Priest is an asshole. Seems like a pretty chill, cool ass dude from the documentary and the clips I've seen of him. Like, some performers can put on a mask. Some can't. Some just need to be themselves. And I think Priest is a guy who, part of the reason why I didn't like him or why I thought he was not as compelling as a champion is because I think they were painting him in the bad corner. They were putting him in a bad spot.
They gave him a bad role, yeah.
He got a bad role. And now basically they've just made it to where post Judgment Day, his promo on Monday night is basically just the ending of every Fast and the Furious movie ever with Vin Diesel, where he's like, it's my family. And like, as cheesy as that is, it actually kind of works for him. And I thought in this match, what I really liked about it was obviously Gunther winning, which we thought should happen and was going to happen. But also, Gunther pulled like a really good match out of Damian Priest. Not to say that Damian is a slouch in the ring, because he's not. But like the mark of a really, really good professional wrestler, and we're talking about like legendary people, is it doesn't matter who you're wrestling. You can pull something out of them, and you take the performer across the ring with you. You pull them up to a different level. Shawn Michaels had this. Ric Flair had this in spades. I mean, how many times did Ric Flair wrestle people for 60 minutes that had no business being in the ring with him, talent-wise?
So fast forward, because, Ric Flair, Steamboat, we get the promo from Randy. What is Gunther? Which one is he?
Gunther's Flair.
You think Gunther's Flair? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Gunther is the Ric Flair in this.
He busted that motherfucker's chest open.
And again, Gunther's offense is built around something that's so simple, but something that people can understand. When there's a visceral reaction when you hear those chops. You cannot help but just go, damn.
This is what I was complaining. This is what the match I was complaining about with AEW wanted to be. If with the Jericho and I don't even remember who the
Suzuki.
hell it was. Yeah. This was what that match wanted to be, was this one, because you had them chopping the shit out of each other, but they made it entertaining because it just wasn't 8 minutes and 50 something seconds of them just slapping each other. It was it was them slapping, trying other things, and then going back to realizing they had drawn blood and being like sharks on each other.
Also, Priest and Gunther are at the height of their athletic prowess, and Suzuki and Jericho are on the wrong side of 50. Yeah. So there's also that, right?
Yeah.
But like Gunther and Priest, it was stiff as hell. And like, yeah, the crowd got into this more the deeper they went into the match, which again, that is a testament to the performers in the ring, because a lot of the heat that McIntyre and Punk generated was story driven. It was from the writers in the room. And of course, Punk and McIntyre and Seth Rollins, they all have their parts to play, but like that's already built into that. Gunther and Priest really didn't have a lot of build up. There's no story there. Gunther just won a King of the Ring and gets to challenge. So like the match starts off a little bit cold, but as they start performing and wrestling, like you said, the crowd fucking eats it up. The crowd gets in right in Damian's corner. Like that is what makes pro wrestling. That's what makes these two guys, that's why they're in WWE employed.
And then
at top of their industry.
Enter Finn Balor.
This is the misstep to me, in the sense that when Finn puts the thing on the rope, they do the Damian doesn't know. Well, now he knows 3 seconds later, having watched the video. Either you don't have him know then, or he finds out later. I
disagree completely.
I saw people being like, this man is the smartest dude in the locker room, because they never utilize the
that's what I thought. I was like, he's looking at the Jumbotron being like, what the fuck happened? And then sees it. I was like, that is a small little detail that, to me,
I would have rather him seen it happen. And so he can just then immediately react and go on, what the hell, dude?
I like the Jumbotron.
That's a small misstep. the fact that once he saw what had happened, that he was like, oh, and went into Vin Diesel mode and was like, I'm going to kick your ass. And then because he kept trying to go after the Finship bracelet.
Yeah.
But
that it cost him the match. And I loved that part where it's like he got close, had that hand on his throat. And I liked Finn's reaction to it. It's like, he no-sold that shit. It's like, yeah, choke me out. You were the one who fucked us here. And he is. Damian Priest is the bad guy in this. As you were saying, he was in the wrong character. He has been the wrong character for the Judgment Day ever since he won the title, because as Finn pointed out, they were no longer, his ego kicked in at that stage.
Yeah, there were supposed to be no leaders in the Judgment Day. That's why they beat old Adam Copeland, Edge, sent him packing. There were supposed to be no leaders. And yeah, like Finn said, Damian got a big head, but like, this is kind of great for everybody. This makes the Judgment Day, which was not getting stable, but I don't think it was. It had run its course. 2 years is a long time for any stable in wrestling.
It needed a new story beat.
It needed something else, and this is the perfect way to get it. You have Priest and Finn. Finn is the perfect guy to lose to Priest and help put him over.
I want him to win, though, so bad. I think that management probably saw good enough of a job that what Priest was doing with the title that they were like, if we can repackage this guy as a Vin Diesel type character, or maybe be him more who he is in real life.
Yeah, I think
we have something with him.
One, I need to watch a documentary. Two, I think I like him more if he's not using that deep voice, because like more of his natural voice, like you can tell when it's there, and he sounds too put on when he's. You need to do this.
It's like we say all the time. Like, you can tell when somebody's playing a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And he was.
And I think he's getting more comfortable in this new role.
And he was over his shit last night.
Jumping back to, I appreciated also that he confronted the rest of the fellas backstage after the Dominic stuff. We're like, how did you know? And you saw the build up. So you had the storyline that you had at Raw, but if you were just coming in to this thing blind, you still got a taste of why what happened later in the show was happening. Yeah. And I appreciated that.
And, to Gunther, for Gunther, rather, this is where a lot of people kind of saw him. This was sort of his, as we were talking about Monday Night Raw, all the video packages, they were kind of christening him to be the next guy. And listen, Monday Night Raw, he looks like $1 million for that title around on his shoulder. So I also love that at the end of the match, I don't know if you guys caught this, Gunther didn't even wait for the ref to like put the title around his waist. He just did it himself.
I missed that.
Just fucking took it and just put it on.
Went out, kissed his wife.
He's just he's just stoic. He reminded me of like a medieval like warrior king. That's what he reminds me of. Just an ass kicker.
Act like you've been here before.
And he does. His character is, I very much feel that if I ran into Gunther on the street, I would be talking to the same dude that I'd be talking to in the ring.
Yeah, he's just an athlete, just a fighter, and the best of it. And I like that Ludwig came back last night to do the announcing. Yeah, that was nice.
I do have a question. Does loosening your singlet unlock a superpower that I never knew?
Yes.
Of? Yeah, you see. I mean, once those singlets come out, do you not see how those muscles kind of flex and ripple into existence? There?
My favorite thing. First of all, Kurt Angle was the best at that. The straps coming down. They made it part of his gimmick. And I can't remember what match it is. I think he's wrestling Eddie Guerrero. But like he had pulled the straps down earlier in the match and like didn't win. So then he's about to Olympic slam Eddie Guerrero. He pulls the straps back up to then just immediately pull them right back down. Just perfect. Man, Kurt Angle's the fucking best, man. God, that dude is so good. It's my favorite.
I would like to see him coaching somewhere for because he's got the skill, but he picked up the drama, the unreality of it so well. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. There has never been another person in professional wrestling that has just got every aspect of professional wrestling perfect the way that Kurt Angle has. He had everything. The moves, the believability. He picked up the drama, picked up the comedy. There's nothing you could have given that man that he couldn't have gotten over. And to back it up, he's a fucking Olympic gold medalist that won with a broken neck. And that's a shoot. That's legit. He legit did that shit. So just insane.
Yeah. Well, let's do Solo versus Cody. Was the last match of the night. I popped when I saw Arn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he didn't threaten to shoot me, is what I think Cody said at some point.
And I didn't notice this, but he was like, "You got friends," and he did the "we're the ones" thing. That, like I said, by this point, your boy was.
But here's the thing I used my connections to get you in touch with people. Who? Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Cody was already in connection with them.
Listen, Arn just got back.
I was gonna say maybe this was the last minute thing. Coach thought he was doing something.
Yeah.
Cody had it in the bag.
But to me,
maybe the Roman thing was
the walkout for Cody was a little too much. It was a little too long.
It was
a little too long.
Shit.
Again, WWE, you just can't fucking help yourself, can you? You cannot help yourself. You have to do it.
But it was for Pharaoh.
It was
for Pharaoh. It was for. I'm gonna let it slide because that's his dog.
Evidently, there was legit people taking bets on whether or not it was going to take a crap on the TV.
Oh God, that would have been hilarious.
Just piss on something on his way out there.
But I could have cooked a turkey in the time it took him to get from his bus to the ring.
And listen, we talked about that fucking mask. He didn't do himself any favors.
But
with that.
Why was it so big?
Because it's got to fit his head in it, and then you have to have the design of it out on the outside.
He could have had one of them, not a lucha mask, but like a fucking skin tight deal. That was white. That would look way cooler.
Andrade's one would have been better, but here we are.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of when they like put it on. It was behind him. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then it went to the front, and I was like, that motherfucker is like. That's when like you need a last minute Halloween thing, and you go to fucking Halloween City, and they only have like the fucking one that's like 19 sizes too big, and you're like, well, it's either that or I go as myself, so I have to fucking do this.
Yeah.
It's just that he's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, and he's the WWE champion.
And the crowd did not care about this match until the bloodline rules kicked in.
I think that
it took a minute to get there.
Yeah, it took a long.
It did take a minute. One, I think, is obviously Solo is not on the level, right? Like if you look at the previous two matches before this, Solo is probably more on the level of Damian Priest, but he's damn sure not McIntyre or CM Punk or Rollins. Mm-mm. And the crowd was like, sometimes the crowd can just like get itself tired. We started with fucking Liv and Rhea, like that was off to a hot start. You can only sustain it for so long.
Well, when you hype a match about a bloodline rule, so you know there's going to be interference, and then you take 10 to 15 minutes to get to the interference.
Which I will give you that. Why did these motherfuckers lock up if it's a hardcore bloodline rules match? Why did they start wrestling?
This is what I appreciated about this when I was talking about how I don't know if the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre would hype match the violence that they had been hyping. They did good. They went in, started throwing right hands. These two had the same kind of hype for violence, and then we're like, and a match. Let's do it. I know you've garnered interference as the rule, and I've accepted this. But wouldn't it be swell, chum, if we wrestled normally for 15 minutes and then you called your friends in?
Yeah, like why take it from 15 minutes? Why not move it down to 10? And why not have it where immediately when the bell rings?
Why were they not out there immediately causing shit?
The bell rings, here come the Tongas, they walk down.
I get that you're trying to pretend that you are Roman Reigns and you're trying to do it the same way that Roman did it, but you need to condense that story some for me.
Here's my question about the ending of that. So if losing has consequences, now what for Solo?
Oh, he's going to have The Rock in his corner.
Like this week? Or
we get Roman back, so he's going to have to confront Roman. And the crowd went wild for that. The crowd was hot for Roman.
Oh, they've been fucking chanting that motherfucker's name for
I jumped out my
weeks.
recliner.
My wife was asleep. Well, mostly. She wasn't paying attention. And I said, I nudged her. I'm like, that's the Tribal Chiefs music. And she bolted straight upright, grabbed her glasses, put it on, and stayed awake through the rest of it. And then was, when I started watching Raw after that, was like, is this still the same show? I'm like, no. And she's like, oh.
We don't get him back until Friday.
Yeah. Again, much like the Damian Priest thing, They tried to build Roman Reigns as this fucking underdog kind of conquering hero for the fucking longest time, and fans just didn't accept it because they didn't believe it, didn't want it. Roman Reigns didn't believe it in himself. He's giving promos, suffering succotash, doing all this shit. Bro, all you got to do is have this guy come out, fucking Superman punch people, spear people, fucking have cool ass hair and look like $1 million and just fucking stand there and people are down with it.
Bring back the big dog music, baby. Bring it back. I'm pleading with you.
I don't know. When the fucking strings and shit hit, this does feel like it feels like a final boss. I do kind of like the new music.
We all know vegetables are good for us, but as a kid, when you're forced vegetables, you don't want that shit. But vegetables are some of the tastiest stuff in the meal. They add to so many different things, right? Roman Reigns is vegetables. Vince McMahon was trying to force us to eat our goddamn vegetables for so many years, and we didn't want vegetables. We wanted our ice cream. We wanted our sweets and what have you, and he just kept trying to shove it down our throat. Nobody's going to take to that.
Yeah, but even that, it was like, if you want to go with that analogy, it was also just like the way he's cooking, the way Vince McMahon was cooking it. Like, yeah, broccoli is like awesome, but if you fucking steam it for 17 hours and it's tastes like bullshit, like, it was just the way he was portrayed too. And like, don't put the dude in a fucking vest.
I think we broke Corey with the vegetable analogy.
Corey's done.
I'm making a note.
But like, again, this was kind of Vince's wet dream. All he ever wanted was a stadium full of people to cheer for this guy.
I gotta time out for a second. The name of the show is going to be called Roman Reigns' Vegetables. Do y'all remember the King? Fuck! I just lost his name. I shared the thing about him on Facebook the other day. King Curtis. Remember the family swap years ago? And he's like, bacon is good for me.
Yeah.
And he's like, chicken nuggets is family.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when you said Roman Reigns.
There's an old meme where, the Vince McMahon one where he's like looking at something and he falls back and then it's I've got that where it's him and it's Roman Reigns just cocking his hand and it just gets faster with him cocking his hand and Vince just losing it more and more.
It is wild. It's wild that, 10 years ago, this dude was was it 10 years, 8 years ago? Whenever the fuck he was standing in the middle of the ring with The Rock and just getting booed out of the place.
I'm not saying I don't want the dude to die from leukemia, but I wasn't mad he had leukemia and had to leave.
I mean, people hated this guy. And now 60,000 people were throwing ones up in the air and just exploded.
I jumped straight up out of my recliner.
It's the fact that you had one dude that wanted to, and it's, trademark Vince, one dude wanting to force himself onto everybody.
That's true. And also he didn't know how to do it. Like, it took a new regime to figure out how to get Roman Reigns, again, playing out of position, bad role, whichever kind of metaphor you want to use. Like, they figured it out with this guy. And a lot of figuring out was like, hey, he doesn't need to talk. He just kind of needs to be stoic. And like, hey, the dude has like, I'm the physique guy of this podcast, as you know. The dude has an awesome physique. Why are we fucking covering up with a vest? Why don't we let the ladies see a little something?
One thing I was missing from his return, I wanted Paul.
Well, we can't blow our load one night.
You're trying to serve dessert in the first course, baby. You gotta ease into it.
Did I not just tell you I wanted my ice cream and y'all are trying to make me eat vegetables?
He wants to be like the South Park where Randy get the internet for the first time. You know what I'm talking about? And it's just
they got internet in California,
and it's just all over. That's what he wanted.
Yes,
so you got to save it a little bit. You don't want to just go bone dry right at the beginning.
The saving is the Usos when they come later. The saving is when Sami Zayn joins them later. That's the later to me. To me, Paul should have been the music should have hit. Paul should have come out and sort of been like, whatever. It's that, and then the big dog walks out.
I mean, yeah, if you were going to do that way, then I think Paul has to come out with like no music with a smirk on his face.
My ladies and gentlemen.
And then, but I also like how they didn't like waste any time with Roman looking at Solo.
Oh, no,
he just walked in the ring, just fucking punched him.
Yep, done.
Spear.
And walked out.
And then give a little nod to Cody.
And the OTC.
Which, by the way, I read that they sold like Roman Reigns, I think, has like all of the top 10 merch sellers in WWE right now, and they made like over $1 million on those shirts in like the first 5 hours.
Here's the thing. We have seen now what Cody's got to do something because he is overshadowed by Punk and Drew and Rollins, and now he's overshadowed in his own storyline by Roman Reigns.
How long does it take to get Cody and Roman talking about teaming up? Because you got to assume Friday night Roman confronts the bloodline, or does he not confront the bloodline? And he's just out in the ring and was like something else. I don't know. Where do we go Friday night?
I mean, listen, Survivor Series is coming up. So if people are going to work that has the traditional war, I guess it's going to be another War Games match.
My guess.
So
Bloodline versus Bloodline.
Yeah, a true civil war. And if that's the case, then because I thought they were going to do Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, but Randy now has the match with Gunther. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do for the time being. I still think that the WrestleMania main event match is going to be Cody and CM Punk, unless, and I mentioned this guy before we started rolling, the John Cena of it all is lingering out there.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just have John Cena come back Friday night and challenge?
Steven said that they're probably just waiting until Netflix for.
Yeah, it's 2025. So, but that still puts that WrestleMania roll in. So,
just do it now.
Does Cena win the Rumble?
That could, because I mean, the Cena story is he going to get 17? If you can bring in Cena back last year, that's the story. He's and I think you might let him get 17 just to get old Flair off the books just a little bit, you know? It's still one of the things where like Cena wins it.
Flair going to pin somebody while he's in the ER with a IV drip.
Yeah. Ric Flair wins the GCW world title.
So is Punk the final match for that one to roll it back to the Money in the Bank?
It could. I mean, Cody, it's kind of weird because Gunther doesn't have the main title, right? So it really doesn't, and he's going to win a lot of his matches, so it doesn't really matter who he's, like Randy Orton's his perfect opponent. But like you said, Cody now is overshadowed by this bloodline story, which you can kind of see, you can read the tea leaves of where this is going to go, right? We're going to have The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. That's where this thing's headed. And that will be a highly anticipated match. So Cody has to have somebody.
Yeah.
And I mean, other than
Rollins would be a good partner for him again, but
you want to go down that road again? We already did that.
Oh, but that's wrestling, man. I mean, how many times did we do Cena Orton?
Yeah, but at least they had the decency to wait a little bit. Last year we had Cody and Seth in each other's orbit. I think for Cody, it's either Punk or John Cena.
Yeah. Y'all got anything from Raw? We got the debut of the Wyatt Six.
Okay.
We covered some of the other stuff already.
Raw was a successful job at building some people. They finally figured out what to do to make people give a shit about Bronson Reed. Let the dude fall on Seth Rollins 6 times when nobody could figure out just to roll Rollins out of the goddamn ring.
That's the thing that was
irritating the shit out of me.
Just roll him. Just move him.
I was like, that ref stood over him for 35 fucking seconds and couldn't have grabbed his leg.
But when hit him the first time, crowd was like, okay, cool. Hit him the second time, crowd started coming alive. Hit him third time, crowd was chanting for it. Do it again, do it again. Fourth time, it was that Vince McMahon meme in a crowd. They were like calling for the 7th, and the only reason he didn't get the 7th was finally was somebody was smart enough to roll his ass out.
Yeah.
But they made him look like a legitimate badass finally.
Now he's just going to lose.
Well, yeah, but they gave him a moment. It's on him to capitalize on that moment at this stage.
It's a little bit like Triple H's booking. Like he has, and I guess I'm about to say Triple H's booking. This is kind of everybody's, but this is just wrestling in a nutshell, really. Like you have your staple stars, but then it's a little bit like Power Rangers with the bad guy. It was like every week we just build somebody up and they just get beat and then they go right and then you fucking never hear from them again.
But you say that's standard wrestling. AEW doesn't do that. They have their standard stars and they just put them up against enhancement talents and then, job them off when it comes time to build their their enhancement stars. They don't have that sweet spot where they're building. Because right now, let's say that Bronson Reed's going to fall into that Sheamus kind of level of person right now. If Sheamus goes out, you've got Bronson Reed, and they can keep him heated up and keep going and have him, be a legitimate threat for somebody. Whereas if the moment somebody goes out on that other side, they've got a big giant void they don't know how to fill.
I mean, that's true. They ain't playing with as many cards on AEW. They ain't got as many.
But they have just as many cards. They have the ability to do it. They just
but they're all fucking haggard, and it's like old cards. It's like, what are you gonna do? Trot out Brian Cage? Like, I don't know. They have damaged their own cards. Because Brian Cage was on Collision as a threat to somebody, and I don't even remember who the hell he fought. Darby Allin, probably. By the way, did y'all see MJF walk into Mexico as the American champion with a flag?
This motherfucker.
It was pretty good. It was pretty damn good.
No.
Jesus waving the fucking flag and CMLL.
What did y'all think about the Wyatt 6?
I thought it was good. I think they finally have figured out like the balance between spooky and how do we get it in the ring and make it make sense.
There were 2 power bombs on this show that I thought were badass looking for different reasons. Damian Priest, when he chucked JD McDonough down and JD just flailing like a madman, bouncing off the thing with the South of Heaven one. And Eric Rowan's, I love the way he just palms a dude's head and just, iron claws his ass up into a powerbomb slam. And that entertains the hell out of me. There
were a couple of things. Like, I thought the entrance was cool. And the way that Howdy sat and watched, and the smoke kind of lingered for a minute. And I was like, well, it was almost like it was kind of contained there, like right around the ring. And I was like, well, that's kind of neat. But we talked about how do you translate that stuff into the ring? Loomis crawling around like a crazy man in the beginning of the match.
Yep.
I was like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's
and
Loomis.
It worked. Yeah, but it worked, like, because it wasn't just like, now we're just going to wrestle. Let's lock up.
He's a tortured artist,
Yeah, but I mean, and his look was different, like he was always creepy looking with that short hair and the stare. But like the way they've got his hair now and everything, he looks fucking weird and creepy. And then, who was the other guy?
Joe Gacy. When he got flipped upside down and was hanging upside down, I was like, that's fucking cool. Yeah, they have gotten into the characters that they've tweaked the characters that they've always had to make it a little more edgy with this, and I think that's helping them. They've found a vehicle to put those weirdnesses into.
I don't know why, because it would suck. There was a fear that I had that they were going to wrestle in those masks. So when they took them off, I was like, oh, okay, thank God. Now, that being said, I think Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas should also take his mask off while he's sitting there watching. I think that the Wyatt Six, like, they all need to, they can come out in the entrance, but when it comes time to wrestle, everybody gets rid of the stuff. I think that would have just been kind of cooler.
Here's a little bit of because they were talking. One of the things that didn't sit well with me. That's Dexter Loomis, who thinks he's Mercy the Buzzard. That's Joe Gacy, who thinks he's Huskus the Pig, and that's Sister Abby,
the witch.
No, okay, but that's Nikki Cross.
Yes, we have to do that. We can't do this stupid bullshit where they're. No, that's Dexter Loomis. That's Joe Gacy. That's Bo Dallas. That's rolling. We have to get that because I don't need. It's just the right enough amount of spooky and supernatural. I don't need all these people to think they're different people.
But if you're going to do it, you got to do it for all of them. You can't be like, and that's Sister Abby the witch. You got to be consistent. That's and I will bitch about that across universes. You got to stick to the rules of your universe.
But just have them take all the stuff off before they wrestle. They're still cool.
And I think he'll end up taking off the Uncle Howdy mask if he ends up wrestling.
For sure. He can't. I don't think you can.
And he'll be the one to defeat Braun Breaker when it comes time.
Oh, that's probably a good person. He could, yeah. Braun Breaker could eat a loss to all those guys. I just forgot how much I liked Dexter Loomis. And then I remembered, like, bro, there was like 2 years ago, there was like a 3-month span where like that man was hitting for me the way
he just
other wrestler
the fuck
ever.
Out of the Miz.
Just was popping out of shit.
Were you talking about with the Miz, or were you talking about before he came up with?
No, the Miz, where he was fucking popping out of the cake, and then they were shooting the angles, and he would just pop out of the ring and shit.
And he'd have his creepy ass drawing of the Miz, or what have you. Or
I remember when we first started this podcast, that was one of the things we were like, this motherfucker over here on WWE is doing some fun shit.
Where he carried Indy Hartwell up to the top of the ladder on his shoulders.
What was it? Miz like trying to beat up one of the mascots, thinking it was Dexter Lumis.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was totally like unhinged at that point.
And then Dexter was but he was still in the statue case behind him. Yeah.
I thought we were going to get a turn last night with Miz.
I kind of was wondering the same thing.
When
he was lingering a little too long with his head in his hands,
and when Truth blind tagged him in,
my little blind tug, ain't never hurt nobody.
A little reach around there.
Yep.
They got glory holes on WWE now.
And then whopped him in the face with the legs. I thought he was going to come in, and there was a moment where I thought he was going to slap that skull crushing finale on him, but it's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Also, one quick note about SummerSlam, because I know we're wrapping up here. I have been a fan of this guy. I've sung this man's praises. He was my number 1 overall pick in our fantasy draft. Bro, we have to figure out something better for Austin Theory to do than just be getting chokeslammed by Jelly Roll. And I love Jelly Roll. Well, love is a strong word. I don't despise Jelly Roll.
I thought the song that he did for the show was a good, solid show for what came. It set up a lot of what was going to be happening, and I that's what I appreciate with WWE.
But I can't. Do they not see what I see? I feel like I'm insane. I feel like I have lost all of my senses. And maybe I'm just, transfixed too much by fucking Austin Theory. Can they not see that this dude is a fucking blue chipper? What is happening?
Me and you've been yelling about Takeshita for a year and a half now.
Yep.
And they got him doing bullshit.
I think he and Takeshita are in the same boat.
Oh, God. Theory, go to Japan. I don't know. At this point, bro, you have to leave. You got to pull a McIntyre, a Cody Rhodes. You're going to have to get out of that company. They have a certain way that they see you. The fans see you that way. You have to leave. Go somewhere else.
I was happy to. I want him to succeed too. I'm not sure. I keep hoping they're going to change up what he's doing and use Grayson Waller as that vehicle to get him there. But so far, it's not.
As soon as the Miz and all them were doing that, and fucking here came Waller in Theory, my head went in my hands. I was like, motherfucker, what this? Okay, he's going to get chokeslammed because of course he fucking is. Why? I don't understand it. It baffles me.
Jelly Roll gave him a hell of a chokeslam.
Jelly Roll did not give him a hell of a chokeslam. Austin Theory did 100% of that work. Okay? The man's an athletic freak. Jelly Roll gave him nothing. He did not even put his other hand on his back to help lift him. He literally went one hand up. Austin Theory fucking jumped 12 feet in the air.
He Simone Biled his way up to a 12-foot Home Depot skeleton into a chokeslam.
Jesus. Just go. Theory, if you were listening to this, first of all, you're probably getting paid handsomely, so stick around, get the bag while you can. But when the contract comes up, you gotta do a bet on yourself. Fucking go to Japan.
Go get you a tattoo on the back of your leg.
don't do that. Go to GCW. Don't even go to AEW. Don't do that because they ain't going to use you the way you probably should be used anyway.
Matt Cardona.
You're gonna have to make your own thing. Austin Theory has fucking 100 times more talent than Matt Cardona has, and I like Matt Cardona. Okay. Austin Theory moves around in the ring like literally probably only a dozen people have ever moved around the ring before.
Matt Cardona still, this is what I mean. It's the stupid stuff that sticks in my head. Him doing his internet videos where he's shooting himself climbing over a fence and they're like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, I'm getting over. And that will stick in my head forever and solidify him as somebody that was tragically misused in this business.
He was about 10 years ahead of his time. Realistically, if he was doing all that shit now with like TikTok and everything like that, if you thought Joe Hendry was a big deal in NXT and like the memes, bro, Matt Cardona would have been killing it.
So they've got a deal. Let's talk about this. Joe Hendry is in TNA, correct? He's just working with NXT. We had a conversation. He's working out at the Performance Center.
Yep, we had a conversation about this a couple months ago, where you were talking about how people coming out of the Performance Center weren't going to be able to learn the different styles because they are all going to be trained in one person. So it was going to kind of limit where they're going.
Sure,
this is their combatant to it. They are partnering up because it's not just TNA. They're partnering up with Bloodsport. They're partnering up with New Japan, or not New Japan, whatever. Noah. They're partnering up with the different ones to get their talent exposed to different experiences. This is the way they combat what you feared your complaint was.
And it's smart. It's smart. It's a way to do good business.
And it helps the other people get in front of larger ass crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was TNA, I would be wondering whether, like, what am I getting out of it? Because if Joe Hendry goes on NXT and then he comes back to TNA and I don't see any ratings increase.
But they sold out Slammiversary.
And listen, so maybe it's beneficial for them.
Which was not something they did when they were working with AEW.
So you say NXT's fixing to go to CW. NWA they're going CW too, right?
I don't know if they're getting a full show or just a web show.
Yeah, I think it's just digital.
Okay.
I'm not sure. They may have had a show, but cocaine and hookers do a lot of damage.
I think that was part of it. I think honestly what happened, and this happens all the time in like contract negotiations, CW probably didn't know that NXT was like available.
Yeah.
So they just wanted some kind of live programming. WWE caught wind of what CW was willing to pay for NWA and knew that the NXT rights were coming up and made a phone call and said, hey, instead of that piece of shit, why don't you get this? And of course, that's a fucking no-win. That's a no-brainer for CW, right? What would you rather have? Fucking the Billy Corgan sideshow or actual professional wrestling company from a legit business people? And so they went with that. And then they probably just have to keep CW.
Well, now I'm mad because I was going to maybe watch some NWA just because of some of the folks that are on the indies are popping up there like...
I still like NWA. I mean, it's
Kenzie Page and
it has
Hunter Drake and some of them.
I mean, when it was popping off during COVID, it was one of the best shows on TV.
Right.
It has come a long way since then, and not necessarily traveled in the direction it should have traveled.
What did Nick Aldis say? It's basically a show for one person. He said something along those lines.
So it's basically WWE, just with Billy Corgan instead of.
Yeah, it's probably more closely just like AEW, except I think Billy has a place of Tony. Listen, well, and I've said that, I've made this joke before. Billy only has 3 years when something's good, and then it goes to shit. So I mean, that's his track record, right? Yeah. First couple years smashing pumpkins. Legit.
He made 2 good records and a B-sides record.
Yeah, and then you go, oh, what the fuck? What's the rest of this shit?
Jumping back to wrestling. I was happy that we saw Rhea. I would have liked to seen more of her on Raw, but she almost got her hands on. Dom makes the save, so he's going to get more than chicken tendies, she says. And that was the twit.
Heyo.
Somebody said, give that man a whole platter, and she said, oh, he's going to get more than tendies.
Are they ever going to do another live sex celebration ever again in WWE?
Not until Netflix.
That's the one.
So let's talk about the other elephant in the room that's potentially coming up. It's not just Penta. They're now talking. It's the entire Lucha Brothers that are up.
Good for them. They should go to WWE. I hope they get used better over there.
We'll see.
And we talked.
Know they're gonna get paired up with.
Oh, you got to put all the Hispanics together. I mean, that's just how it's gonna roll.
But I didn't realize it because they don't let him speak enough. But evidently, Penta's very fluent. Yeah,
he speaks English. I'm baffled. I don't know why they never used him. He looks cool. Every time he's in a big moment, he outshines the moment. The crowd loves him. The outfit, everything looks awesome. And they just want to keep trotting out Hook on television. I don't understand it.
I would like him to learn a style where it doesn't involve him doing as much of the standing and waiting, where he might have to slow down a little bit. But
I don't know, bro. Just take the things out. Say Sierra O'Meara.
You're taking the Lucha Bros out of the Lucha Bros, cuz you're just making them Angelico.
They'll be down in NXT, right? Though that's where they're going.
I don't know, but I'll trade Ricochet for Phoenix.
I don't know if I would trade Ricochet for. I would trade Ricochet for Penta and Phoenix. I think if it's just Phoenix, I don't know if I'd make that trade. But Penta's keep in mind, Penta in Mexico is a huge star. I'm talking about like huge, like sells out Arena Mexico when he's the main event level huge. Like he's that to that country.
And I'll say I saw Hologram finally live. I don't get it.
We talked about last week Hologram and the Beast Mortos was fun. Like sometimes you just need 2 dudes to go out there and put on a show, and that's what they did.
Well, he was at the show on Collision this week, and I don't remember. He was in a tag team match, him and Mystico versus somebody. I don't remember. I don't care. It was, and I'm like, why? This is who you're hyping as your biggest thing.
No, Tony said sometimes you this was before he showed up, and you're like, I don't think hologram is who you think it's going to be. And they're like, sometimes you just want to, try to hype somebody that is going to be new to the company. Like, they don't always have to be a big surprise,
Well, he's getting consistent TV time.
He's better than Hook.
Yeah.
He's better than Jericho. I mean, at least we're moving in some kind of better direction. I mean, granted, Hook and Jericho are still on TV quite
Is
a bit.
Hook hurt or something? Why are they haven't been on, which is good. I'm not complaining. I'm just asking.
Do we? You made me think about this injury because I don't give a shit about Hook, so I don't care if he's hurt or not. In fact, he's not on TV is the best thing ever.
And there we go.
But Fatu, Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Do we think it's a legit injury or just an injury to keep him out of from having to get an ass whipping by Roman?
What's that? Yeah, he ain't hurt.
You don't think so?
He was in a walking cast.
You can go get a walking cast at CVS. He's fine. You can't have this dude beat the shit and even if he is legitimately hurt, you have to just kind of say it's a work because this dude has literally murdered everybody who's been on TV, and then he does one kind of crazy move and
hear me out.
Hurts the leg.
At some point down the line, can we please get a just over the top baby face Jacob Fatu? Some of his fucking facial reactions and things the other night were cracking me up, and I was like, I would laugh so hard if they could put this dude in some sort of goofy role and just. I don't know what it is. I'm not that guy to come up with that. But he is funny as shit if you watch his face when he's wrestling.
I just need somebody, and I'll give you that, but I want somebody to pull a Samoa Joe on him because every time he runs into the ring, he runs and right up those turnbuckles and leaps on somebody like they don't see his ass running up the turnbuckle.
He has the intensity and everything like that I wish Braun Breaker would have.
Yeah.
If you could somehow put those two guys together. Because if Braun had those facial expressions, it would be it really would be like the motherfucker is Venice Beach, 80s bodybuilder. Yeah.
But they're natural enemies, aren't they? The Steiners and the Island Boys?
Oh, yeah, they have. Yeah, they got to be. They got to be.
He's kind of Mark Briscoe-ish, right?
Yeah.
He's got that energy about him.
Yeah.
So we got anything else from Raw, or is that it? I think that's it. All right. Y'all follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Alabama Slam Pod. Follow our network of fellow podcasters at thealabamatake.com or follow the Alabama Take on any social media platforms. We've got a network of fellow podcasters that put stuff out more or less every week. And you can subscribe to the newsletter there at the top of the page at thealabamatake.com. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Thanks.